Okay, so we're back with part 2 of the Animalia journal that I'm working on. So we've got the cover done. It's dried. It's got strings everywhere going on. I'm pretty pleased with it. Sorry, didn't mean to bump you there. And I said the cover's done. The cover's not done. We still got a lot to do on it, but it's covered. The cover is covered. So there you go. There we have it. So for the front of the cover, I think what I want to do, and I've sewn these pieces together. It's a piece of the, what is this? Almost like some burlap, but it's really soft. And then a piece of this canvas type material. And then these two little strips from where I was tearing the inside cover. So I've got those sewed together in a little square. And I'm thinking I want to add those to the front. And so also what I've done, and it's kind of drying right now, for my wolf picture, I'm going to have this one kind of offset a little bit. It's so hard for me to envision where my spine starts. So let's do that. So this gives you an idea of the size of the cover that we're working with, because our fold starts there. So I've sewn these together, and I'm gonna have them kind of offset just because I don't know to what degree, but they are gonna be offset. And I'm thinking, so I took the wolf picture that I had, and I I coffee dyed it. I just dunked it in some coffee, mainly to tone it down because it was bright white. And then I stitched it to just the back of a manila folder to give it some backing, and I sewed around it. So I'll show it to you now. It's in the middle of drying, and you can barely see it because of the way that the stuff is on it. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But so I coffee dyed the image, and then added it to a folder piece of a folder, just to give it some steadiness, some sturdiness. And then I don't know if you can see it, but I did like a squiggly couple of stitch around, and then I've put a layer of this is just a test. So I've got this diamond glaze. I've never used this before. A friend of mine gave me this, and apparently, so let's see here. Used directly over artwork for a raised glass-like finish, or as a dimensional glue for glitter, beads, glass, metal, plastic, and paper. So I'm hoping this kind of gives me a glassy top texture. If nothing else, it will have sealed the image. But it's still drying. You can see it's kind of creamy. It's dried around the edges here. And it's smooth and all that. So when it dries completely, I'll trim around it. So I'll have this gluey edge. I don't know how else to describe it, but it'll be kind of glossy. See how glossy it is? And then we'll put it kind of right here in the center. That's my game plan. And I should be able to just glue it down, because it should be thick enough and sturdy enough just to glue down. That's my plan anyways. So, that's what we're going to do with the cover. I can't do anything with this image right now because, again, he's still drying. So he's setting off to the side and he's drying. But what we can do is go ahead and glue this down, because it's sewn together as a one piece. I'll use Weld Bond, because Weld Bond works good on paper and fabric and wood and glass, and I haven't found anything that really doesn't work well on. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down. I'm being kind of liberal with my glue on this because the fabric's probably likely going to soak the most of it up. Oh, I didn't mean to go that far with it. I'm going to spread it out just a little bit. But I'm not like smushing it into the fabric because, again, I need some glue to stick onto the other fabric. And we'll scoot let me make sure this is how I want this. I'm not so sure at this point in time if it matters much. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So this will be our front. I'm going to put this there just to kind of give me some eyeball that this is the cover that we're working with. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And that way, whenever my wolf picture is done and dried, this should be good and dried and solid. So I'm not waiting on multiple layers to dry. Glue's kind of squeezing through right there, so we'll just tap lightly there. So I think that will work just fine. Let me make sure I'm kind of even here. I think so. And again, we'll put the wolf picture here. I think that'll make a pretty cool cover. Really plain and simple. I'm not planning to again, do fancy with this. I'm not doing any kind of a fancy spine dangle or anything like that. I did work on this. I didn't want to do a big fancy spine dangle, but I kind of wanted to do something. So I went through my broken jewelry, and I'm going to sit down a minute. So let me see. Let me make sure you guys are in frame. Okay. So what I thought about doing was this. This is a piece of an earring, I think. And I added a little feather to it. And I'm thinking this is a clip. It's got teeth on it, and it's got a little section where you can, of course, add jewelry to it or add a ring to it or whatever. And I'm thinking I might just clip it like this. It's not made to clip on and off, but if I clip it like this, smush it down and give it some glue, it'll be kind of permanently there. And it'll offer this for the dangle. And it's not a whole lot, but it gives us something. I may take this leaf, the feather off, because it keeps wanting to dangle to the inside. I don't know. But that would give me a little bit of a dangle. And I think it would look okay with the wolf there. I think it'll look okay. So I'm not going to attach this now because I'm still undecided about it. So I'm just going to peel it off. And again, I don't know what these clips are called, but they kind of go on the end of something, maybe like for a strap for a bookmark or something. And of course they got teeth, so you just pinch them closed. And this, again, is an old earring. So I'm going to set this aside with the idea that we might work it into something there. I'm not so sure, though. Because, again, I kind of just like the plain simpleness of it. I also have this trim that I've been playing around with, trying to figure out if it needed to be somewhere on here or not. I'm thinking probably not on the cover because I've got this going on, but I may run it down the spine depending. I only have enough to run it down the spine twice, but I haven't decided how many signatures I'm going to have just yet in this book. So with that, I don't really know what I'm doing with the spine. I don't know. I mean, that kind of looks okay. So we've got that to play with. And of course I've got all this other trim and things like that. So there we go. Those are just kind of some decisions that are in the works, along with the wolf picture drying. So now what I want to do is decide on, or maybe I could work on some. This is my template. This is how big I need my pages to be. I cut it out earlier today. So when I'm working on my papers, this kind of gives me an idea of what size papers I need. So we can either work on some ephemera, or I think, let's see here. I have tons of stuff to play with ephemera. Images, again, that I got off the internet, and oh, I know what we can work on. I have, set these aside. I have these. This is Animal Guides, and maybe we'll work on these. Yeah, okay, so this is an animal guide that I got off the internet, off an Etsy shop. I don't recall what store. This kind of goes over all the different animals and kind of their what about them kind of thing. And actually I should, this is my guides journal. With this journal, I intend to recognize my animal guides and to listen to what they have to say. So I have these pages, and we can attach them to decisions. I'm trying to think. I want to attach them to I want to attach them to some paper. I'm in a thought process right now as to how's best to go about this, because I actually kind of want them tan, but I think we'll go ahead and work with them, and then I can spray them with some coffee afterwards. How's that? So let me get some manila folders here to work with. And we'll just start attaching them. I don't have normal manila folders. My folders are like big pocket folders, which is fine. I just have a massive amount of them. Somebody gave them to me. And so I just have to kind of deconstruct them a little bit before I can work with them, which is a little bit of a pain, but we're working with it. So I don't think these are in any kind of order. And I know there's this animal guide. I guess I need to decide if I could make a book out of this. Excuse me. course, oh, think, Michelle, think. If we folded it, and of course attached our pages to where they're we can make a booklet out of this. Make a little cover and open it up, and it says Animal Guides. And then this will be journaling space. And then here's some animal guides and journaling space and animal guides. Journaling space, animal guides, journaling space, animal guides, and then the cover. Okay, maybe we'll make a booklet out of it. I think that's what we'll do. And then this page over here is kind of a My Guides journal. I might back this and tuck it in the front cover. Kind of tuck it in the front cover here. We might do that. Okay. Okay, we're working. So, okay, we're working. We're working. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, hopefully, trim this down without tearing it up. I got too much going on my desk right now. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I think that'll be good. Okay. I'm just gonna guesstimate and hope that I didn't get chop my top off. Nope, I didn't. Good deal. And trim the edges because we got a little pucker out because of the now that I think about it, I've got my music on. Let me turn that off real quick. I didn't realize that it was on. Okay. I didn't realize my music was on, and I know that YouTube gets a little funny about that kind of stuff, so okay, carrying on. Hopefully that was not that big of a deal. Okay. We'll trim there. And then give us a good trim here. Okay. Now, still got all of our pages intact. We're going to use this as a cover. Good deal. I'm going to see if I can hold this up to the light. Give me some sort of idea as to where I need to cut this down. Okay, let's see here. Again, I am no professional. We are just kind of going with it. Okay. Okay, we're getting there. We actually, let's see here. We actually could take a little bit more off. I mostly measure by eyeballing things. I'm not a fan of math, and so when you start telling me, well, just add another 1/4 inch or add another 1/8 or, I don't, not a fan. Not a fan. It's still quite a bit. I think I want to take a little bit more off. Let's do a little bit more. Maybe a lot more, but okay. That's actually quite perfect. Now, do I want to fold these in? Or do I just want to make a booklet and tuck it in? I think I just want to make a booklet and tuck it in. So let's see here. Where do we need to trim? Let's go with this one. I don't know if you can see, but that gives us just a little bit of an edge. I think that's good. And I think what I want to do is glue these on. I think. Because then we'll just have these as open. Decisions. I think that's what we'll do, though. Mainly because I don't want to add a lot of extra pages to this. I don't want to add, I want to try not to add as much bulk as I can. Because I'm limited on my size. And I have a lot of ephemera to, I was trying to peel off the glue off my little paddle. I'm limited on my size. I've only got a, what do we say, 2.5 inch spine. And I've got a whole bunch of ephemera that I want to stuff in this guy, so. Okay. I think we want to do that. So let me play here. I need to do some chopping on my glue book. It's getting a little out of hand. Okay. That's a little better. And I'm going to go ahead and use this glue. I'm not going to do a whole lot. I'm just going to do a thin layer. I'm probably going to sew this, but I'm going to go ahead and get a thin layer of this as opposed to a glue stick. Only problem with using wet glue is that your paper is wet, and so that's what causes the wrinkles and all that. So you got to kind of be aware of that. Kind of line it up. And one thing I've found that helps with the wrinkles is if you have some people use a credit card, or I use my bone folder. Kind of helps squish it down flat. You got to kind of be careful though. If it's really wet, it'll catch a wrinkle and rip. So put a little bit of glue on my paddle and get my edges here. I think that edge is good. And then now I need to do the other side. That's another trick with working with wet glue, is to do it a little at a time. You know, don't overwhelm your paper with all this moisture, because that's what also adds to the wrinkles. Is you got too much going on, your paper's just like, I don't know what to do, and so it just kind of seizes up a little bit, at least in my experience. So when you work on it little piece by piece, a little at a time, you don't get it so overwhelmed, especially when you're working with like a bigger piece. Now I'm going to fold this in. Smush it like that in hopes to catch, in hopes to avoid that. We did not avoid that though. So we're going to do a little slice. Do a little slice down the middle. Didn't want to do that, but we did, because we're crooked. Hi, my name is Shell, and I glue things down crooked. I also cut things crooked, so there's that. But we're not going for perfection here, remember? We're not doing that. And so I've got these remaining pages, and I will attach them in here. And I think I'll do that with this. So this is a handy dandy tool. It's a bookmaker's stapler. It's a regular stapler, but it's got an extended arm, which is kind of cool because you can slide books in and staple, you know, wherever you need. Whereas a regular staple, you can only go so far, but this allows you to go in as far as you need. I got this years ago. I probably got it off of Amazon. I really don't know for sure. I don't know what it's called. I call it a bookmaker stapler. And so there we have it. And what I'll do is I'll hit this with some coffee dye. Kind of grunge it up a little bit. Man, that's crooked. Okay, we're going to take this out and redo it because we're like really crooked. And I'm not a fan of really crooked. I'm okay with crooked, but these are really crooked. Come on. Okay, let's try that again, shall. Try it again. Try it again. It may be throwing me off because that front page is kind of crooked. That may be what's throwing me off. I don't know that that's any better. We're gonna go with it though. It's still crooked. We're just gonna make it work. Okay. So, I think my phone is beeping at me telling me I have a low battery. So, I think we'll close this up and call this part 2. Again, I'm going to kind of keep these short and sweet, and hopefully we won't drag this out too long. And when I would come back, we'll work on this a little bit more, and I might go hit this with some coffee and let it start drying, and then we'll jump back to it when it's dry. So there you have it, part 2, and we'll be back with part 3 soon enough. Bye for now.